What's up, guys? I'm Alex Duran. Thanks for tuning in Corrections Unlocked. Here at Corrections Unlocked, we talk about our experiences, we share knowledge, but ultimately we talk about how to be a better correctional officer. On today's topic, we're going to talk about the three struggles of a prison guard. And I broke that down into three categories. It's called SSD. It's just something I came up with. So what SSD to me is, it's stress, suicide, and depression. Those are three things that every correctional officer is either struggling with or struggled with at one time in their throughout their career. And those three things are something that every correctional officer I notice is dealing with. And the question is well, why do they struggle with stress, suicide, and depression? Did a little bit of research, asked a few people that have a lot of experience, and it all kind of stemmed down to pretty much the same things. Um, Most correctional officers are overworked. They're overworked way more than expected, way more than they thought they were. And this isn't just for the prisons, this goes for the jail, federal, just about any type of correctional facility. They're working 16 hours a day, they're working 6, 7 days a week, and they're fatigued. They're beat the fuck up. They're just shot out. By the time they come home to their families, their loved ones, they're numb. Their head is fucked up. They don't know how to be a husband. They don't know how to be a father, a mother. They just want to rest. They're completely shut out. And that ends up leading to divorce. It ends up leading to depression. Another thing that was brought up was the incidents we see. We see a lot of tragic incidents working in the department. We run to those incidents and we see people that are dead. We see people that are stabbed. We hear people screaming. There's a lot of different stuff that goes on, especially when you're working in a prison. And we run to these things. We provide safety. We provide help. And then it's done. Nobody's really checking on the officers. Nobody's really saying, hey, are you doing all right? Nobody really cares. It's just one of those things that's in our head. We go home and we work out or we cook or whatever the fuck it is that you do. And we're thinking about those things, not telling anybody. And that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing when you're thinking about stuff that's tragic like that and you're challenging your mental stability. And you're questioning yourself on, damn, how do I deal with that? Damn, that was serious. And you don't know how to talk about it. That's why I'm here today, so we can talk about these things and we can kind of open up about it. So we see tragic incidents. We're constantly overworked. And the majority of the people we work with or we work around, they're very negative because they're probably dealing with these three things I just said. They're depressed, they're very negative, and we got to go work around these people that are pretty much assholes to us. And we got to figure out our flow on how to be partners with them, how to carry ourselves around them, and deal with that 18, 16 hours a day. And that can be very challenging, especially when you're a newer officer, especially when you're working in an area that you're not comfortable working in. And that ties into being overworked. You're going to be working in areas in a prison or a jail that you don't normally work in, meaning you're going to work around people that you don't really know. And with that being said, it leads to people challenging you, people testing you, people not trusting you. And I'm not talking about inmates, I'm talking about your partners. And that type of stress that's going through your head can be very challenging. So you have your mental stability being challenged with incidents. You have your mental stability being challenged with officers. And it leads to suicidal thoughts, whether we think it or not. That's something that a lot of officers struggle with. And we're fatigued and we're burnt out. So how do I stay ahead of the game, right? That's the big question. We can talk about all the depression, all the suicide, and all the stress. But as a correctional officer, how do I stay ahead of the game? How do I fucking fix this? And I asked myself that a lot, and this is something that I struggled with a lot. So I needed to figure out how to better myself as a correctional officer, as a supervisor, and as a person for my loved ones, for myself, and so that way I can be the best version of myself when I'm working. So I broke that into three categories. And the first one was know how to do your job. Know policy in your area, know what you're doing, know what's allowed, know what you can and can't do. And why is that a big deal? That may sound stupid to some of you, and I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal. When you're working in an area and an inmate says, hey, man, I'm supposed to be doing this. Or, oh, hey, I'm supposed to be doing this. Or, oh, hey, I work over here. I need to go get this. When you know your area and you know what's going on and you know who your workers are and you know the schedule and the program, You can easily tell when somebody's lying to you, when somebody's trying to manipulate you, or when somebody's trying to fucking game you. Because that is all that happens in a prison. You're constantly being challenged and you're constantly being fucked over. So when you know what the fuck you're doing, you can take control of your area, you can take control of yourself, and you can make a call. But when you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you're getting played all day, it's going to lead to you not understanding what's going on, you to start feeling depressed, and you to start actually questioning yourself on, do I really want to do this job? How do you want to do a job if you don't know how to do it? That's why I challenge you to know your area, right? So not just with inmates, yeah, that's one part of our job. But when you know where you're working and you know your area, you can also let your officers, your peers know, hey, I'm not going to be doing something I don't need to be doing. Just because you have more time than me, or just because you're a punk, doesn't mean I'm going to allow you to make me do things when we should be doing this equally. Or maybe you're making me do something I'm not supposed to be doing. When you know what you're supposed to be doing as an officer and you know your area, you can call these people out on these things. And ultimately, it's going to be leading to you being more confident in yourself, more confident as a correctional officer. All those inmates are going to respect you because they know you know your shit. You're going to when you're respected, you feel better as a person. People are less likely to fuck with you. So that's the first thing. The second thing that worked for me is getting involved. What does getting involved mean? Getting involved is I'm not just sitting on my ass 16 hours a day working in a prison, because that can get very tiring and very boring. And when you're sitting there thinking of shit in your head, it's usually not good stuff. So how do I get involved? What do I do? How do I stay busy? There's so many things in a prison, so many ways to get involved. I guess the question is what do you want to do? Are you more of the tactical wannabe Navy SEAL guy? If you are, cool. Join our CRT team. Go see if you're that badass guy. Go try out and go hang out with our badass guys and see if you can meet the requirements. Every jail, every prison has a SWAT team or a CRT team, and we got about 20 to 30 guys that are doing the mix, that are certified and can actually deal with all that. Go be one of those guys if that's what you think you are. And in return, you're going to get better training. You're going to be able to be considered a CRT or SWAT member, and you're going to be respected. And you're going to be called upon when situations hit the fan. If that's not your cup of tea, cool. Go join our peer support team. Go help out others that are struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, that maybe saw something tragic in their career, and go talk to them and listen to them. That's something we offer where I work, and I'm sure it's something that is being offered in prisons and jails all up and down the state or country. If that's not your cup of tea, cool. Go join our union. Go understand our benefits, our role, so that way you can help officers out throughout their career with money, with what's allowed, with all that kind of stuff. There's categories for everything in the department. Ask yourself, what do you want to do? And I challenge you to go do that and see what doors it opens up for you. Knowing more of the department, being more involved, makes you more confident in yourself. And it just makes you feel like you can be counted upon by your fellow partners and your peers. And ultimately, it makes you feel like a better person. So I challenge you to get involved. And the last thing, and this is something I really harp on, is personal care. Like, where are you at with your personal self, your personal care? And why is that such a big thing? To me, personal care is everything. I try to work out minimum 4 days a week. Why do I work out 4 days a week? Consistency, health, and challenging myself and proving to myself, and ultimately being more physically fit helps me be a better person, makes me feel more confident in myself. I'm more productive throughout my day. I have more energy. And I feel like I can take on any challenge that's put in front of me. But if you're not challenging yourself and you're not working on your personal growth, you're not really ready to be the best version of yourself as an officer. There's no way you are. And with personal care, it could be a lot of things. It could be your health. It can be your wellness. It can be what you're eating. We work 16 hours a day. Some of us even more. Some of us longer. What are you putting in your body to fuel yourself for the day? Are you eating junk food? Are you taking vitamins? Are you taking what your body needs to not get you sick, to not make you feel fatigued, to not make you so exhausted and tired. And don't forget, when you work in a prison, your alertness is everything. If you're tired and you're falling asleep and you don't know what's going on around you, and there's a bunch of violent inmates that are there for 20, 30, 40 years that are active gang members or rapists or all these horrible things, your job is to monitor and watch and to make sure everybody's safe. How can you do that if you're not safe yourself? You can't. So personal care is what I really harp on. One thing I wanted to bring up, something I read from Nicholas Grieco. He's the founder of President C3, some education bullshit. But he said something that really, really like helped me out, and it made me understand. And don't quote me on this, but it was something along the lines of this: if you're in an airplane and the oxygen masks fall down because you're about to crash, you're not going to go grab oxygen masks to the seats next to you and start putting them on everybody else. You're going to grab the oxygen mask that's right in front of you and you're going to put it on and wrap it around your head so that way you can breathe. Is that selfishness? No, it's not. It's just common sense. It's reality. It's what you're going to do. It's what anybody would do. And why is that? What does that mean to correctional officers? Well, what it means is you can't go and help anybody else out without helping out yourself first. Put the oxygen mask on first so that way you can be conscious, help yourself out, and then help out others. So if you're stressed, you're suicidal, and you're struggling with depression, how are you going to go help out anybody else when you haven't helped out yourself? So put on your oxygen mask. Work on your personal care. Get involved. Know your area. Those are the three things that I work on. Those are the three things that help me grow, and ultimately it makes you a better officer. And you need to understand something. We're all going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, especially if you're a correctional officer. You're far from perfect. Take it on the chin. Take the hit. Understand where you went wrong. Self-correct. Move on. Become a better correctional officer. That's what you need to do. That's how you grow. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Corrections Unlocked.